good. Okay.
Let's begin with a roll call. Vance Frost,
Present.
Mike Serio,
Present.
Brian LaFrance,
Here, present.
Eric Rivera,
Present.
Maya Lynch,
Present.
and of course I'm present. So we're all set to go. Two of our members are out of town or coming back from out of town. That's Jan and Jen. So this is the group tonight. So let's, has everybody had a chance to take a look at the minutes? I've looked at them. Any modifications or additions to the minutes? Okay, with that, can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move we approve them.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second, Rod.
Okay, very good. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, the minutes are approved. So this brings us to time for public expression, which, do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on any issues that are not on the agenda? Any
That's you,
hands up?
Christina. Are there any hands raised? No.
Okay. All
No,
right.
sorry.
We'll hold it open. We'll hold it open till the end of the meeting in case somebody does arrive and would like to address some issue. The Parks report, AJ was not able to be here tonight, so we're going to pass on that. And that brings us to item number 6, which is the skate park improvements. So
Is
Danielle,
Lisa in the audience now? Do we want to maybe give her a few more minutes, Rod, and
yeah,
go down
yeah.
to Memorial
could-
Park updates
Yeah,
or
let's
something?
do that. Let's go to 6B. That's the Memorial Park updates. We're going to be talking about the skate park. We're also going to be talking about the playground in more detail. So let me bring you all up to date on the playing fields. So at the January 26th meeting of the town council, they approved the work on the playing fields. And so as you know, what that's going to involve is new turf, new irrigation, and improved drainage. So it's going out to bid later this month or in early March. So we're right on schedule to begin work in August after the baseball season. The work should be completed by the end of November of this year. And the playing fields will be fenced off. That is all of the playing fields and the meadow from roughly August through March of 2022 so that that turf can take hold. So we're up and running on the playing fields. I think it's very exciting. It's going to be terrific. They're going to look great. They're going to look brand new. They will be, in effect. So let's back up. Any questions on the playing fields? We've pretty much kept everybody up to date on that. And now that the town council has approved it, we're up and running on that. So let's back up. I see Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. We're going to back up now to item 6A, which are the skate park improvements.
Okay, I'm going to give a brief summary of the staff report. So in 2014, the town council approved a proposal to develop and build a skate park at Memorial Park. The skate park was built through a successful community-led effort by the skate park committee. This effort included an amazing fundraising campaign by Lisa Graham, the chair of the skate park committee. Due to the high usage and popularity of the San Anselmo skate park, it is time to rehabilitate and repair the skate park. The skate park committee will work to get feedback from the community while following all COVID guidelines. The improvements to the skate park are scheduled for April. The project will cost approximately $20,000, which will be funded by the skate park fund. We have approximately $23,202, not approximately. We have $23,202 in that fund, and we will maintain a small portion of that for any maintenance issues that might come up in the future. The money in the skate park fund was part of the original fundraising efforts. The Director of Public Works, Sean, has been working with Will Hutchinson to finalize the improvements. And I want to introduce, with that, I want to introduce Lisa Graham, who most of you know, and who is the chair of our skate park committee and does a fantastic job to talk more about our plans and our future plans and our future goals. Lisa?
And Lisa, welcome. And you may add whatever you would like.
Yeah.
Very much. I don't know you, Vance, and I don't know Mike, so hello. And to the students, Eric and Maya Lynch, it's great to see your faces. Eric, I think I know your mom, Jennifer Overa. So I think going forward with the skate park we're very excited about these, I call them refurbishments, if you will. We've had a pretty good solid park for the last 5 years. And now it's time to upgrade the equipment so that we have a really solid half pipe and components there so kids are safe and they feel that it's a complete park to go to. I mean, we have over 50 kids a day, so I walk by there pretty regularly, and I've done a lot of outside community service work to clean it up. So I mean, seeing that there's this viable spot in town has been awesome, and it's been great to see how many kids use it. In fact, I just got back from there. That's why I was a little late, so sorry. I think in terms of going forward, what we're really hoping to do, and with our friend Will Hutchinson, who is he's one of the owners of Proof Lab, and they built skate parks all around Marin, from the Mill Valley Park that is right behind Mill Valley Middle School to the Marin City Park. The idea is it's had a 5-year window as a Skate Light Pro, which is a wooden park, but now it's time to take it to a very sustainable park for San Anselmo that would be concrete, so that kids have somewhere to skate for years down the road, and the maintenance is low, and it's kind of a one-shot deal where hopefully we can get support behind a concrete park. I think it's time right at this point for the young people of our community. So that's really what we're hoping to move forward with. And although, yes, the short term is to make sure that the equipment right now is safe and skatable. So that's why we make the upgrades that we need to do, which we knew we'd have to do. But the next phase is the concrete piece of the picture. So that's kind of where we are. So I'm happy to take any questions or.
Yeah. So now would be the thank you very much, Lisa. Does anybody have questions for Lisa or Danielle?
I have a question, Lisa.
Ben.
No, it's nice to meet you. I just wonder, sort of, how do you qualify yourself as a shredder? Are you an advanced shredder, or what, how does that work?
Very advanced, fans. Very advanced.
Good, good. Well, then you'll be good with remodeling the park, I'm sure.
Yes, yes.
Just to add to what Lisa has described, and also Danielle, we had a very productive meeting with Will Hutchinson at the skate park in December. And as Danielle mentioned, and as Lisa did too, he's very experienced with skate parks. I mean, been very involved, the one in Bolinas, the one in Marin City, the one in Mill Valley. And the idea is by the end of March to have some cost estimates on the repairs to the existing elements. And so we have a scope of work and the cost estimates, and he's confident that that work can be done in the $15,000 to $20,000 range. And that really is sort of phase one with respect to the skate park. Phase two, which as Lisa indicated, we'd like to get started on now, is to look ahead to designing a permanent concrete skate park, which would be a tremendous addition to Memorial Park. Would be a fabulous place really for kids of all ages, not just teenagers, but all ages. And from the initial discussions that we've had, we think it's doable. It will require a significant fundraising effort, but we already have a location for it in the Memorial Park master plan. And the idea is to get organized and see if we can put that together over the next couple of years. So we appreciate Lisa kind of being behind this now for many, many years. And now we're moving on to hopefully realize what we all thought might be possible. And I think it's very possible at this stage. So any other questions for Lisa or Danielle on the skate?
I've got a couple of quick ones, Rod, if
Yeah,
that's
Mike.
okay. So, I guess firstly, Lisa, I think it's really impressive what you've done with the skate park. And in particular, the fact that there's actually money right now to tap into, really shows the strength of the fundraising effort that you undertook. So kudos to you for that. But will the vision for the concrete park, will that significantly increase the footprint? And if so, what will that look like? Is my first question. And then secondly, do you have a sense for how big the fundraising effort will need to be, and what sort of the financial hurdle is that you'll have to clear in order to complete that second phase of the job? I mean, just curious. If you don't have any idea at this point, I mean, I'd understand, but I'm just curious if you've gotten that far in the thinking.
No, I'll let Rod talk about square footage because he knows a lot more in terms of, I know what we have now currently, but he knows in terms of the approved plan through the town and what that square footage is. But in terms of the fundraising, no, I mean, I've been in nonprofit fundraising since 1988. So I'm all about knowing exactly what things are going to cost. And, I mean, part of the reasons why I wanted this 5 years ago, and I told Dave Donnery, I'll raise your money, but I want it, like, I need to know what it's going to be. So just full disclosure, when I fundraised for the San Anselmo Park, we brought in, I want to say it was close to 50 grand, maybe 52 something and change. And then the park itself cost about 27,000. But then there were these other like pieces that went with it. Like there was fencing required and there's town requirements. And so they pulled from that budget and we paid for them and have you. And by the way, there was a lot donated. I mean, Gelati and Dutro and a number of other key people ended up refacing that whole surface at a price that if we had to pay for it would have been costly. So I believe in asking for whatever we can get. But I think this park, what we're hearing from Will Hutchinson from Proof Lab, when they put the Mill Valley Park in, I think it came close to about somewhere between $150,000 and $175,000. And they were able to do that with, there was a personal donation of $50,000 from a parent who lost a child who was a big skateboarder. So she was very invested. I think the town of Mill Valley came forward with another 50,000. They did a GoFundMe that was somewhere around 30 to 35,000, and Proof Lab put in a donation of 25,000. When the San Anselmo skate park was done, we also did a GoFundMe, but we ended up raising more of our money from businesses. So I went after Levi Strauss in the city and the Giacomini Foundation, Gelati, Patty Garbarino at Waste Management, and Katie Rice at Supervisor Rice. I think there's lots of those larger pockets that I would actually, I would want to go back to the same people who made the investment the first go around, ask them if they would double down on this, because this is a much different situation than at that time it was a temporary park that we were given by San Anselmo. This would actually be a sustainable, like one time. Would you double that donation? And I think there's a lot of other individual donors also. And then you bump up from there to, okay, what foundations do we know and what business owners do we know and what corporate people do we know, to what grant dollars exist. And then you also have your town people to ask for. So the idea would be to kind of go back to everybody that gave before, obviously ask them to support it again. I mean, personally, I feel for a city like San Anselmo, town like San Anselmo, it's not a big ticket item. And I know that I know that the town doesn't have a whole lot of money, but realistically, a park that's a one-time 150,000 to 200,000, I believe is reachable. So that's just me being a fundraiser. these are tough times, obviously, with COVID. But at the same time, I think that there's so much benefit in really providing more for our kids here, because there is the selling point is still there, that as much as we've got like a lot of people who care about our community and we've got all these great services, if you ask a lot of kids, there's not a whole lot for them to do. And I think the skate park has brought so much to so many, whether you skate or you don't. It's brought a really safe environment down there. And I'd love to continue to capitalize it. And trust me, I have an outgoing senior at the high school and I have a 21-year-old. So my personal investment isn't even my own kids anymore. It's the kids beyond my kids. So my hope is that the community will see it in that same way. I think they will.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, Mike.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you.
Rod knows square footage.
Well, the square footage of the existing park is right around 5,000 square feet. The area that has been blocked out for the skate park in the master plan is approximately 5,500 square feet. And because of some of the landscaping, it was not a rectangular shaped area. It is, the lines are non-linear. I actually think we probably can expand it to about 6,000 square feet. And Will Hutchinson's estimate to build a park today is approximately $40 per square foot. So it gives you an idea of kind of the range of what we might be looking at. And of course, the investment, this is not an investment that is just for 5 years. I mean, this is an investment that is for decades with a concrete park. So the return on investment would be substantial. I was down at the Mill Valley skate park this weekend. It's packed. It is packed with skaters. It's packed with parents watching and being involved. It's a very exciting place. So the idea is, let's see if we can bring that excitement to Memorial Park. And that's what Lisa and her group are trying to do. Any other questions? Because we have several people who have expressed an interest in the skate park committee. And now we have an opportunity to not only improve the existing skate park, but really to look to the future skate park. And those people are Jen Trahan, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight because she's traveling, Eric and Maya, and I'm also interested in participating on the skate park committee. So and of course, anybody else who would like to participate is welcome to come to meetings. But with that, is the commission prepared to approve that foursome participating on the skate park committee? Would that work for you too, Lisa? Good.
You're
We
muted.
can't hear you. You're on mute.
That sounds wonderful.
Okay.
So if we could take a motion, Rod, just to maybe
Yeah, we should-
formalize it.
is there- could I have a
I move to accept the committee as proposed by Rod for the
good,
skate park.
and do we have a second?
I'll
I'll
second. Rob.
second, Ryan.
Okay, all in favor, aye? Aye,
Aye.
okay, opposed? All right, that group is now part of the skate park committee.
And the next meeting is March 1st at 5 o'clock, and
Exactly.
we'll send you a link.
Exactly.
Christine, if we can make a note to do that, that'd be great.
So, Eric and Maya, will that work for you that afternoon? It's a Monday afternoon at 5. And the meeting probably will take approximately an hour. Okay, does that
Yeah,
work?
that
Okay,
works.
terrific, terrific. Thank you very much. All right, Lisa, thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you for all of your enthusiasm and work on the skate park. And we'd love to have you stay through the rest of the meeting if you would like, but I know that you other things that you're involved in, so
Thank you so much for letting me come tonight to talk about this. I really appreciate it.
great. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay,
Thank you.
take care.
Thank you, Lisa.
Good
Bye.
night. Okay, that then brings us to item number 7, which is the Community Advisory Committee with respect to the Millennium Playground. And so Danielle, you are reporting on that this evening?
I will report on that. So tonight we're asking that the Parks and Recreation Commission appoint 3 members to the Community Advisory Committee for the playground at Memorial Park. Millennial Playground was built in, of course I didn't write that down correctly, but 2000, I believe. I left off a 0. Through a successful community-led effort. Due to the constant use and the fact that many of the playground elements are made of wood, the playground is in need of repair. The initial step is a safety inspection and repairs to preserve the existing park structures, and layout will be identified. Potential opportunities to make improvements within the playground footprint will be reviewed by a design professional, and we will engage the community. To guide this process, Town Council approved the formation of the Community Advisory Committee. Sorry. I made my notes, the CAC, so I'm calling it the CAC, will act as the project steering committee. Gosh, I'm fumbling on this one. I apologize, you guys. This committee will include 2 council members who have already been appointed, Eileen Burke and Steve Berto, and 3 Parks and Recreation Commissioners. In addition to that, we will have 7 residents who will be chosen by the Town Council and Commission liaisons. The general outline of the steps to initiate this committee are to conduct the safety evaluation, and make a plan for repairs. Recruit 7 community members, assemble a project team that will consist of the town manager, the community service director, and the public works director. The Memorial Park Committee will be tasked with community engagement and assist in fundraising to identify for the identified improvements at the park. And that's the gist of it. So it went to Town Council, and like I said, Eileen and Steve Berto were approved, and we are looking for 3 commissioners to join the effort. It definitely, like I said, will be talking about how to improve our playground, engaging the community, and it will consist of fundraising. I'll add to my report a little bit about the budget, which just in review, because we have talked about it. So basically, all of the money that the town has saved over the years through Measure A, and also we're getting Prop 68 funds, are going to the fields. And there will be some funds that can be used through like the park, through Sean's budget. It's called the Parks Fund, that we can do some repairs on to make sure things are safe. But this will be fundraising, because the town doesn't have money to pay for the envisioned park that the community would like to see. That being said, the county still does have to go back to the community for Measure A. They have not announced when they're going to put it back on the ballot. It expires this year in 2021. But if it does get renewed, then we would have some funding for, and there's obviously many interested parties, the skate park, and we have the playground, and there's just so much to repair. But that would be the one source that may in the future come about again. So I just want to add that to give you guys an update on where the budget and the funding is coming from. And with that, I'll turn over to Rod. Even though I totally fumbled on that one, I apologize.
No, you covered the bases nicely. So what we're envisioning here, and then after I've just spoken for a couple of minutes, we can take questions. What we're envisioning here is really sort of a multiple phase approach with respect to the playground. The first is there's an inspection that's currently taking place to identify health and safety issues with the existing structures. Those obviously, particularly the ones that present, sort of call it an imminent concern, need to be addressed immediately. There are other issues with respect to the existing structures, such as sight lines that may require significant modification of the existing structures that may be beyond the town's current budget. And then on a longer term basis, there are empty spaces in the playground. And the idea is to look at what additional features or elements the community would like to put into those spaces. So the idea here is get the inspection done, retain a playground design expert, and look at these different stages, if you will. And the body that would be responsible for this effort is the Playground Community Advisory Committee. That was established by the town council at the January 26th meeting. And we are being asked to appoint 3 members to that committee. And I had mentioned this back at our January meeting, and soon after that meeting, 2 people immediately responded, and that's Mike, and the other was Jan Wu. And what I would suggest, and some others have suggested I should be on that committee as well, which I'm glad to do, because I think the playground, I have some background on the playground, and we need to get it accomplished. So so that's really all I have to say with respect to this issue now. But Danielle and I can entertain whatever questions anybody might have.
And I just want to add real quick before we go to questions that I do really want to keep Rod on the committee because for the sake of consistency, he's been involved since day one. I think that that whomever else we choose, the other 2 people will hopefully be ready to work with me and do more of the heavy lifting since Rod is going to be working on the skate park too. So I just want to add that, but I think for consistency reasons, it'd be great to include Rod in the 3 appointments.
So this is, we obviously we need to address the playground. We have young kids that are in there using it. We need to make sure it's safe, that it has proper sight lines, and we need to upgrade it to current health and safety standards. And that's going to be the primary focus. And to the extent that we can fundraise for additional elements in the playground footprint, that will be terrific for the community and for the users of the playground. So with that, could we have a motion to appoint Mike Serio, Jan Wu, and myself to the Community Advisory Committee?
I'd like to move that we appoint you and Jan and Mike to this here committee.
Thank you, Vance. We have a second?
I'll second. It's Ryan.
All right, thanks,
I did
Ryan.
want to make a comment before
Yes,
you
Vance,
went
sure.
to move the vote on that. I'm concerned that this park thing is going to weigh heavily on your shoulders. It seems like every single thing we're working on is heavily on you.
Well, I appreciate it, Vance. I've been working on the park for quite a few years, as many people know, and Mike knows in particular, because of our effort a couple of years back. And I know Mike feels the same way. We want to make these improvements to the park. They are
It's commendable. It's commendable you're there. I think it's fabulous.
thank you, Vance. Okay, I probably should ask if there's any public comment. Do you see any, Christina? Okay, no public comment. So any further discussion among the commission? with respect to the Community Advisory Committee or the appointment of the 3 people identified by Vance? Okay, with that, was there wait, there was a second. So all in favor of appointing those 3 people to the Community Advisory Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose?
Aye.
Okay, there we are. Good, so that's taken place. Appreciate it. All right, that then brings us to the financial report. Danielle? You're on mute, Danielle.
Thank you.
Here you go.
58% of the fiscal year has elapsed, and we are listed at 39% of our projected revenues and 43% of our projected expenditures. As you guys know, COVID has drastically changed the way we do business in recreation. But with that being said, we are surviving. We currently have a deficit of $122,845,000. However, we do have reserve funds and we are using those to balance our budget. I'm also constantly in conversation with the town manager and fiscal, Helen, the finance director. And the majority of our income for this month came from our baseball and softball registration. And the department is working very hard to keep our expenses low and comparable to our income. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Danielle, as we look out, and I know the town is beginning to work on the next fiscal year's budget, but as we look to the end of this fiscal year, what are we anticipating our deficit to be? I know we're at about 122 now. What are we looking at 4 months?
So I don't have that exact number in my head. I was actually, because we did do a mid-year budget review with the town council at the last meeting. And I was hoping at our next meeting with our new financial report to share those numbers with you and change how we're reporting. And
Okay.
be able to give, we did do estimates for the end of the year, although I don't have them in front of me, I apologize.
Okay. No, that's
But I was hoping to give you guys a bit of a longer presentation next month to
Okay.
include all of that. What I will say in addition to that, we will end the year at a deficit.
Right.
And nothing is off the table. I mean, that's just being honest. We've made a lot of changes in the department. We have all of our coordinators are back in the classroom teaching to save on part-time staffing expenses, including Christina's pitching in, Maddie's pitching in. We will be sharing part of Christina's time with Helen to have a savings to us for what we pay. We only pay 25% out of our fund for Christina. So we've made a lot of changes to get to the end and have a deficit that is manageable for our department to continue. Because my concern is that last year we ended at we had really good reserves, but we've spent a lot of them. And we ended at a deficit of $173,000 last year. And we started with 500,000 in our which is amazing. I mean, we've had some amazing years. $500,000 this year. I'm expecting we're probably going to end with at least like maybe $250,000 left in our reserves. But the problem is COVID's not going to end on June 30th. And the recreation field has forever changed. And we reached out for sports camps. This is one example. We reached out to sports camps to somebody who for years has been contracting with us to teach sports camps, and I won't say which one. And the response was basically, I would love to, but at this time I'm collecting unemployment and I don't feel like it would be in my best interest to go back to work. And so Kevin, what our department's doing is Kevin's like, I'll teach sports. I'll get out there and do it. So our team is amazing and they're all pitching in. Some of them are struggling with, I have a lot of work, but I'm in the classroom. And so I'm going to try to work with them to see how we can make improvements and work plans and make sure that no one's too overburdened. But come June 30th, it's not going to end for us. We'll probably be the last ones to have restrictions lifted because they're more concerned with schools rather than recreation rules. Sports rules will change quickly. They actually change in the orange. You can play competitively for baseball and softball, although parents can't come. And that was going to be in my staff update. But so after June 30th, we're going to have to, continue with the COVID restrictions, but also rebuild our relationship with the school district, who we haven't been on their property forever. Rebuild, find all the teachers to teach after school enrichment, find teachers. I mean, everyone's some of the contractors have gone out of business. So we're gonna have to find new people to teach these classes that we've contracted with such a great resource of income to us. So yeah, I don't see a return to our normal income, hopefully until 2022. But I'm hoping we can survive. I'm working really hard to make sure we can.
Yeah, I think you've done a remarkable job under extraordinarily difficult circumstances.
Thanks.
It's not just the financial circumstances, those are difficult enough. It's also the stress and anxiety that I know your staff is under as well, and that parents are under. And when they communicate with you and other members of your staff, often you're the blunt of their anxiety and frustration and stress. So I think we would all agree, you've done a remarkable job under extraordinarily difficult conditions, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just give Mike a quick heads up. Mike, on the Community Advisory Committee, Dave and Danielle will be calling a meeting in the first week of March, likely. Is there a time of day that's best for you? Would it be towards the end of the day? It would be via Zoom.
Yeah, Rod, the end of the day is really best for me,
Okay.
if possible. And it's kind of a heavy week. I've got a lot of meetings that week. So
Following
the
week.
sooner I know, the sooner I can maybe adjust my schedule if I need to.
Okay. Okay. Dave is out of town at the moment. He'll be out through Friday.
Yeah.
But I don't think really the following week is necessarily out of the question either, if that would be easier for you.
The following week, I'm gonna be up in Oregon.
Oh, you will?
Yeah,
Okay.
the second week of March. Yeah.
Okay. So the first week is better. Okay.
Yeah.
If the meeting the Zoom were to start around 4 o'clock, would something like that work?
That should work.
Okay. Okay.
We can do a doodle poll
Okay.
and get people's times. Christina, you have problems with your electricity?
Christina's here. She is. She's back. She's back.
I'm so sorry. We got a new fan and I don't know how to work the light.
That's
The
hilarious.
fan goes on, but the lights go out.
So sorry.
Okay. All right. So that brings us to staff updates. Danielle, anything on that front?
So real quick, just going back to the good news, let's be positive. Our spring programs are going very well. Everything we're putting out there is selling out. We did an adult tennis class, which adult means teens and older, sold out in like one day. We're adding another one. We are going to run our spring soccer program. We're going to use 2 of the tennis courts like we did for basketball. We just got to use every part. The fields will be completely used by our baseball and softball teams. We have 25 teams between baseball and softball. Yes. Our programs are very popular.
Oh.
You just can't run them at the same capacity we could without COVID. And some of the teams are smaller because we're running them with, along school groups, and we're trying to keep, groups of kids together. So some of the teams are as small as 7, others are up to 14. But really exciting. Everything's selling out. We're doing these amazing, it's small money, but it makes people happy, and it is money. Every dollar helps. And these great, if you guys haven't seen these clay kits that kids take home and they do at home, and they sell out like hotcakes. We just released a new batch today, and it's like we have a table outside the doors of the office, and people come pick them up by themselves, and we're closed right now to the public. And then they deliver them when they're done, and they get fired and they get left out again, and the people come pick them up. It's like completely self-service. So just some really fun things going on. The tennis keys for the tennis courts changed today. So just so everyone knows, Christina's been selling them for a week now, Christina, or a week and a half. Yeah. And, but they did change it. We have been having some problems with kids breaking the locks on the tennis courts. They're popular for skateboarding these days. So a lot of competition for those tennis courts these days. People are loving tennis. We're going to use them for soccer. We use them for basketball. The skateboarders want in. So, every part of the park is being used. And we are working on a virtual guide for summer, which is new to us, but we're doing it in-house, so there's no cost to it. Kevin and Maddie stepped up and they're doing it. And we're really excited about having a guide out there, and it'll be virtual, but it'll be something. So that's kind of what's going on. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have heard anything or want to know about anything.
No, I think, as I said, I think keeping as many of our programs and activities up and running is important for a whole variety of reasons, for the parents, for the kids, and also it's going to be very important for the fundraising that we need to do for the playground and the skate park and other areas of the park that we will be focused on. So thank you for doing such a nice job.
Yeah, it's the whole team. It's fun.
It is good. Well, it's fun at times, right?
Well,
Realistically.
I'm being positive.
I know. Good. Well, we appreciate that too. Okay, so that, any other questions for Danielle? Okay. That then brings us to any requests for agenda items. Remember, in March, we were going to do an election for the chair and vice chair of the commission. And also, Danielle, if we could add the path around the park to the agenda. As I mentioned that back in our January meeting, there is interest in the path, and now would be a good time to address it, because I know that Sean is thinking of doing some work on the Sunny Hill Drive side of the park, the path that runs basically from the log cabin down to the parking lot on Sunny Hills Drive. So we might want to try to coordinate that as well. So
are you looking for a report from Sean, an update, or what?
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. That if Sean is in a position to give us just a short update, just a report. I know he attends a lot of meetings on where that stands.
Okay.
The ideal situation, obviously, it would depend on cost and coordination, would be to have a multi-use path that goes around the park. But we've already tackled the field, skate park, and the playground. And it seems to me the next items are probably going to be the path, because we have someone, Ann Pulitzer, is very interested in heading up that effort. And I know the tennis folks are very interested in tennis courts. So, but let's put the path on for next week if we could, or next month.
Month. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, are there any other agenda items? And Danielle will be giving us an update. We'll be getting an update on from the skate park folks, from the playground folks.
Can I
Uh,
give one more update? I'm
yes, sure.
sorry, because
No, go
I
ahead.
wanted to, my dog is having like a little attack. Maybe my husband can take her in the other
Fine,
room.
there's Dennis.
Um,
Oh, that was Dennis growling. I wasn't sure.
I wanted to report back on the bikes because.
Oh, good, yes.
Because, so there is it's called the E-Pack. It's under, Public Works. And so it's been kind of quiet for a while. So your guys' questions have reinvigorated the, committee, so to speak. So I am working with Scott from Public Works, and Dave's advice was that, rather than having the commission work with them, is that maybe some people who are interested, and he's mentioned you specifically, Ryan, and Mike, maybe sit on that committee and help with that. I don't know if it's a committee or a commission, but I'm going to get you guys the information once that maybe starts going again. I know Sean's been very, very busy, so
Right.
nothing has quite happened yet, but I did look into it. And also Kevin is working on, I know that there wasn't a ton of interest in doing like bike classes, so to speak, but I thought the idea of doing some educational classes, even if they're virtual and free, to our community would, be something that we could contribute. So he's looking at Berkeley and Santa Cruz and kind of to see
Cool.
what we could do as a department.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, I think
Thank
that's
you.
great. I think it's great too. For all the reasons we talked about back in January, the town is not a particularly bike-friendly park the way it's currently set up. And I know it's not easy
Mhm.
to make downtown areas bike-friendly, but it's obviously something, I don't even know that it really is within Parks and Recreation, but it is a form of recreation.
Right.
But there's still a lot we can do in addition to that, to bike lanes and so forth, such as bike maintenance. A lot of
Yeah.
kids and adults just don't know how to maintain a bike properly.
Yeah.
And when
And-
we did those classes in Berkeley, we
Yeah.
could find space big enough. There were so many people and so many bikes. That's how I learned how to repair bikes, was through the town bike maintenance classes. And, you can have it
Yeah.
for levels, whether it's mountain bikes, road bikes. I mean, it's a lot of possibilities for kids, adults.
Mhm.
So I know Ryan's real interested in, and Ryan, you don't have to make a commitment now, but think about maybe between now and the next meeting, when we have more details, whether you might be willing to serve on that committee.
Oh yeah, I'm committed. I actually just sent out an email tonight to an Access for Bikes, the Access for Bikes group. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah.
To see about, again, I've been talking to Vernon, the head guy there, about seeing if there's anyone that wants to kind of talk about potential programming ideas, because yeah, it runs the gamut. I mean, like you said, maintenance to more bike lanes to just learning how to ride a bike on street or on dirt or on bike trails. There's all sorts of etiquette and protocol that I think would go a long way in one, obviously keeping the rider and pedestrians and automobiles and everybody safer on the road, but also two, help kind of prevent any further negative tide that's coming in between kind of non-bikers and bikers, for example. Just get everybody kind of and I think that's the skate park's a good example of how it's so accepted, but there's probably still people out there that like, oh, skateboards, but it's it's this kind of welcome part of our community now because we have this great program.
Yeah, exactly. Good. I'm excited about the looking at the bike opportunities, because I think there are a lot of them. Be a huge
Absolutely.
asset for us to be involved in that sort of dimension of our community.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like I think we've mentioned probably in the past, and all you guys know is, just speaking about mountain biking specifically, it's just such an important part of our history here that, you know, a lot of people know, and a lot of people that have been here for that since the 60s and the 70s know, and the 80s, but you know, the younger generation may not know. And I think, you know, it'd be great to kind of embrace that rather than kind of let it die, you know?
Yeah. You know, what would really, I mean, there are a lot of things that I think would be fun and interesting related to bikes, but one, just apropos of what you just discussed, is to have maybe a 45-minute session some night on the history of cycling in Marin County.
Oh, 100%. And I guarantee you we could get that in a heartbeat from Vernon at Axes for Bikes or from the Marin Bicycle Coalition. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, yeah, I think it'd sell out in a second.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to charge,
Great.
but I think there's that level of interest.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know the museum, for example, the mountain bike museum is technically in Fairfax, but I mean, it's very much, you know, just down the street from our house apparently is where, I don't know, Gary Fisher and maybe Bontrager or someone else, you know, they started the first mountain bike shop, you know, that potentially in the world, right? And you know, we still have, you know, Cascade Canyon Fire Road, or what was known as Repack, is, as you guys probably all know, like I think the oldest at the time was the oldest mountain bike race in the world or something, and the first one, I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah, right. A lot of it started right here, right out in our backyard, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be actually a lot of fun.
I was just going to say, Ryan, anything you want to connect with me on, feel free, and we can help make things happen too.
Oh, cool. Thank you. It's great.
Okay. Any other agenda items people would like to have for next month? Okay. Well, I think that brings us. We got a lot accomplished in an hour, and really appreciate everybody being here during ski week. And we'll keep everybody posted on these various activities, and we will see everyone next month. The meeting is adjourned. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Thank you, everyone.
Good night, guys. Thanks.
Hi, guys.
Bye. Bye.